shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Temple Israel. We're so delighted that you can be here with us this morning as we celebrate Shabbat together, and of course, as we invite Alina Tenenbaum to become a bat mitzvah. So a few things before we get started. Oh, good, that helps. So first, when you walked in this morning, hopefully you took a siddur, a prayer book as you walked in. If you didn't, there's still time to go back and get one, because Alina has worked very hard to prepare for this day, and as she leads us in this service, we want to make sure that we're really all able to be a part of this experience together and to be able to sing and speak and share all of these sacred words with her. So we are going to begin today by putting on this beautiful talit, and this talit that you are wearing is the names of all of the matriarchs of the Jewish people. And so as we place it on you, we pray that just like Sarah and Rebecca and Rachel and Leah, that you become a leader and a mother of our people. And Rabbi Michael, would you mind helping me with the blessing?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehita tev b'tzitzit. Blessed is God who has commanded us to wear the sacred garment.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Our service begins on page 170 in the Blue Prayer Book. May my life be one link in a chain of goodness as I say the prayers of my ancestors. Help me to recall their devotion and faithfulness, their joy and suffering, which are in every word. Holiness is my heritage, may I be worthy of it. May our tradition live in me and pass from me to generations I shall never know, enriched by the truth that I have found and the good deeds I have done. So may I fulfill my task on earth and receive my blessing. And when the service ends and the prayers have ceased, help me to bring their spirit into the world in which I live. May I love God above all and my neighbor as myself, and be a living witness to the truth that never changes.
And we join in the singing of Matovu on page 172.
Matovu Oalecha Yaakov, Oalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu Oalecha Yaakov, Oalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Va'ani berov chastecha avod v'yitzecha eshtachaveh elecha l'kodeshecha v'yiratzecha. Matovu Oalecha Yaakov, Oalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu Oalecha Yaakov, Oalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha
Please turn to page 195 and rise for the call to worship.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalalai-lai-lai, 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 yalalai-lai-lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalalai-lai-lai, 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 yalalai-lai-lai.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, yotzer or uvarei choshe, osa shalom uvarei et hakol, hameir la'aretz veladarim, alecha berahamim, uvtuvo mahadesh bekol, yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit, ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulanu bechochma, asita mal'a, ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or sha'asita, yifarocha sal'a or chadesh al Sion ta'ir, v'nizke kulanu mechara la'oro, baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'ma'orot.
Amen.
The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning, my Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'me'orot. We join in singing the Shema at the top of page 200.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Ve'achavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol levacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'shtartam le'od al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, for soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Please turn to page 205 and rise for tefillah. Adonai sefetai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotzeinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע. מחיה חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומציל אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the doorframe, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, Eternal Teacher, encourage my seeking as I fill my hours with your mitzvot. So shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving.
We join now in the singing of Kedusha on 208.
יקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר, שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני למקומו. אחד אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים קדישך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. And we'll turn now to a prayer for peace with the words of Sim Shalom on 216.
Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu. Ve'yakov Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu. Ve'yakov Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu.
Welcome everybody again. It's good to see you. We're going to take a break for a moment from all of that Hebrew so I can explain what exactly Alina was saying and what we're about to do, which is essentially we've gone through all of the history of the cosmos. Alina said prayers about the beginning of the universe, about the creation, about light and darkness, and then she moved into the story of the matriarchs and patriarchs, the story of our history and where we came from and our wandering. And then we told about the crossing of the Red Sea. And right now, at this moment, we're about to reenact what happened at Mount Sinai. And it is an incredibly special day because Alina has prepared for a long time, has truly studied her Hebrew and learned it, and is now actually going to read from the sacred scripture. It's going to read from the Torah scroll, but again, it is all in Hebrew. So she has a very big job to do today. She has to explain to us what all of this means, and most importantly, what it means to her and her generation, and her friends and her family. So without any further ado, we're going to step forward to the foot of Mount Sinai, and we're going to reenact a very important moment, which is receiving the Torah.
Now we know that this Torah is passed from one generation to the next. But as Rabbi Michael said, Alina is going to do exactly what Moses did on Mount Sinai, which is bring the Torah to you. But for those of you who know the story well, you know that Moses had two siblings. And in this case, you get to be Moses today, one of Moses' siblings did not quite have that opportunity to bring the Torah to the people. So today, we're going to pass the Torah through the generations, but also as Alina walks among you with the Torah, we're also going to give Zoe the chance to be able to hold the Torah and bring the Torah to you, since most of you were there with us over Zoom, and it's not quite the same as being in person. So we're going to do a little bit of extra today. We'll ask you to please rise.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu lehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu lehakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu.
L'dor v'dor nagid gadlecha. From generation to generation, we praise God's greatness, and from generation to the generation, we pass the teachings of our sacred scriptures from parents to child. So we pass two Torahs today through the generations of your family. Pass them on down. The words are the same, but each one is a reminder of all that has come before us. And we join now in the words of Ki Mitzion on page 246.
Ki Mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, התפארת והנצח והאור. ייחו בשמיים ובארץ, ייחו בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה, ויביא נעשה לכל ראש. הללו, 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 כל הנשמה תהלליה. הללויה, כל הנשמה תהלליה. הללויה, כל הנשמה תהלליה. הללויה.
It's gone by.
So this morning, Alina is going to be reading from Parshat Kedoshim, and we're going to start with our Torah blessings on page 250.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Oh no, it's all in Hebrew.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael, ve'amarta lechem kedoshim tichayu, ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. Ish imo ve'aviv tiru, et shabbototai tishmoru, ani Adonai Elohechem. Al tifnu el ha'elilim, velochem ma'asichem, lo ta'asu lachem, ani Adonai Elohechem. Vehi tizbechu, zevav shalamim Adonai, lirtzonechem, tizbechu. Bayom zivachachem yeachel umimachorat, v'chanotar ad yom hashlishi, be'esh yisarei. Ve'im heachol yeachel bayom hashlishi, piguchu veloche Yiratzeh va'im. Yiratzeh.
No, you're totally good. Unless
Okay.
you can do more.
You can read the whole
Do you wanna
Torah
do
if you like.
Oh yeah. Let's just go. Baruch Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natsa betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'torah.
Amen. So it's our tradition to now lift the Torah in the air so you can see what Alina just read perfectly, by the way. Seriously, perfect. So we're going to invite Jordan to come and lift, and we'll ask you to please rise.
Vzot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei B'nai Yisrael Al Pi Adonai Beyad Moshe. This is the Torah which Moses placed before the people of Israel, God's word through the hand of Moses. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Osher bachar b'nbi'im tovim v'ratza b'divrechem hane'emarim va'emet. Baruch atah Adonai ha'omer b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nbi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Hello, Chinei, Kushim, Atem, Li, B'nai Yisrael, Ne'em, Adonai. Hello, et Yisrael, He'eleti, Ma'aretz, Mitzrayim, Uvlishtim, Mikfator, Ve'arem, Mikir. Hene, Ene, Adonai, Elohim, B'mamlacha, Hachata'a, V'hashmarti, Ota, Me'el, Pinei, Ha'adami, Hafes, Ki, Lo, Hashmid, Ashmid, Et Beit, Yikpor, Ne'om Adonai, Ki, Hene, Anochi, Metzava, V'hanioti, V'kol Hagayim, Et Beit Yisrael, Ki Oshir, Yinoa, Bak Vara, Velo, Yipol, Soror, Aretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sor kol haolamim tzadik bekol hadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha ve'linucha lechavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here to celebrate with me today. My Torah portion is called Kedoshim. It isn't a story like some other Torah portions, but it's more like a little bit of everything. It is all sorts of different rules and teachings, some of which are really big and important, and others which seem really not at all. Today I wanted to focus on one of the teachings in my Torah portion that I thought stood out to me the most. The line says, "You shall not curse a deaf person or place a stumbling block before the blind." One way of reading this line is to say you literally shouldn't curse a deaf person or place a stumbling block before the blind. You shouldn't do that because they may not know that you were the one who did it, but it's still just really cruel. These are people who can't help they are blind or deaf, and you have just made it worse. A deeper meaning about not cursing a deaf person can mean that you shouldn't talk about people behind their back or spread a rumor. They may not know what happened, but will eventually, leading things just to get bigger and bigger. When you talk about not placing a stumbling block in front of the blind, another example could be giving someone intentionally bad advice. Doing this would stop those people from being successful at whatever they're working at, and you would know, have that guilt, that feeling that you're the one making their life more difficult. The reason this teaching in the Torah is so important even today is because it helps us understand that the ways that sometimes we can hurt people without even realizing we're doing so. Finally, thank you to my rabbis, Amy and Michael, for teaching me all that it means to be Jewish throughout my life. A very big thank you to my teacher Adele for putting up with me during Hebrew sessions, especially when I wouldn't practice. Thank you to my parents for always being there and supporting and helping me, and for all the random hugs and I love yous. I love you too. Thank you to my brother Eli for just being there anytime I need you, mainly with school, especially math. And to my sister Zoe for being my built-in best friend. Even though we act as if we hate each other, I do look up to you. I love you both. Thank you so much to my grandma and grandpa for all the hugs and constant cookies you make. Thank you to my bubby for the nightly goodnight text and to all of your bubby talks. And lastly, thank you to my best friends for always being right beside me. I love you all so much and love being able to tell you anything. I never thought I would be standing at this bima today, having said everything I did just moments ago. Seeing my siblings, friends, and everyone else become a bar bat mitzvah made me wonder when mine would be, how I would do, what I would wear, if I would mess up or not. It seems time came by sooner than I thought. It feels so good to finally be up here standing at the bima today. It was honestly a really fun process getting here. It took a lot of dedication and hard work. By that I mean I didn't really practice until the last month. But it really did pay off in the end. Thank you. Oh. Is that for me?
That's all right. Well, good morning. Thank you, Rabbi Michael and Rabbi Amy, for being so supportive through this process with Alina. And thank you for challenging Alina to ask questions and think about the meaning of today, helping her write her speech based on those discussions. It's crazy to think the last time we did this was T.I.'s first virtual bat mitzvah during COVID for Zoe 2 years ago. It's so nice to be back inside for Alina's big day on the bima with a congregation and with beautiful music. Thank you, Rob. Thank you to Adele Lewis for being wonderful and the very best Hebrew school teacher and tutor to Alina. Adele has been an amazing tutor for all 3 of our kids now. Incredible. Your knowledge, your patience, your encouragement helped Alina to continue to work hard and give her the confidence to read and chant proudly today. Thanks also for the very special yad you gave to Alina to help her as she read. Special thanks to everyone watching today. We are so grateful to our family and friends who came from near and far. And to support Alina on this special day and thinking about those who could not be with us, you are here in love and in spirit. Alina, we are so incredibly proud of you. We are proud of how hard you worked to get here, even though at times it was not easy. I loved watching your confidence grow as you continue to practice. I'm proud you took the time to learn about your Torah portion by asking questions and thinking about how it applies to you, your life, and those around you. It's hard for me to take in the fact that the day is here. Our 3rd and final child, bat mitzvahs, has arrived. Our forever baby has grown up. You know you will always be our forever baby, right? It's times like these when I think about all the memories and events that helped shape who you are standing up here on the bima today, so beautiful, so confident. I remember the day you were born with Dr. Philpott, who also delivered your brother and your sister, turned to me and said, "Jordan, how about you deliver this one?" I looked around the room shocked that he was actually serious. But I jumped at the opportunity. He must have known something. He must have known that you would be so calm, so easy. He must have known that your Tenenbaum stubbornness would only develop soon after that. You learned to walk a bit later in life than your brother and sister, but it definitely wasn't because of delays on your part. Oh no, I take full credit for that. I remember carrying you on my shoulders everywhere, and I mean everywhere. At the store, the park, the kitchen, the bathroom, I considered it my workout. I just loved having you up there to chat to, even if you didn't chat back. Your shorts were always falling down, revealing the top of your tush, and you smiled nonstop. Zoe used to get so mad at me because I would never carry her. I used to use the excuse that you had little legs. I'm quite sure they did actually atrophy because I carried you so much.
Anyone who's been to Eli or Zoe's mitzvah knows that we keep a funny book. It's a book of hilarious things written down that either you or your brother or your sister or somebody said over the years. Every entry sheds a little light on your evolving personality. If you don't mind, we're going to point out just a few of those.
Oh.
So, you were always very perceptive. Funny book log, September 18th, 2012. You were 3. I walked downstairs dressed for a work event, and you said, "Mommy, are you going to marry Daddy? I know you want to." You always tell it how it is. Funny book log, March 2014, when you were almost 5. You were talking with Grandma and said, "Grandma, you look kind of old." And she said, "Well, you know, I am 62. And you responded, "Well, Grandma, old people die, you know." Later that day, you reminded us that Bubby was also kind of old and using a hand gesture indicating that she might not have that much time. It's possible. It's also possible that you were already anti-establishment. Funny book log, March 3rd, 2015, when you were almost 7. Your dad had just put on his best suit and tie for work. He asked you how he looked, and you glared up at him and said, "Heartless." You were fairly confident where you stand in the family. Funny book log, August 2021, when you were 12. Dad and I were driving with just you in the car, and you were kind of mad. "Why am I the only one who has to go?" And I said, "Because we love you and we want to spend time with you." And you responded gruffly under your breath, so we wouldn't be able to hear, "Oh, I hate being the favorite."
Your natural tendency is to give to others. To help make sure others are treated fairly is remarkable. This is why in so many ways, I think your Torah portion today was perfect for you. I remember when I used to help run the Rock Shop, which was the Spady Elementary School store with you. You would come meet me during your lunch period. There was always a child who did not have enough money or sometimes no money at all to purchase store items. Without fail, you would reach into your pocket to help subsidize the purchase, even if it meant you didn't buy something yourself. This pattern of giving to others has always been a part of your life, whether it was helping a friend or wanting to help someone in need that we passed on the street. You were always the first to give what you had, or if you had nothing, you'd make sure to give what we had. You have an amazing sense of empathy. You can very quickly recognize when someone is feeling down, and you are always willing to lend support, whether it's to cheer them up, work through a problem, or just be there to listen. I think this trait is why you have so many friendships and so many besties. Okay. Others trust you and are drawn in by your loyal, fun, and free spirit. Your Hebrew name, Alina Simcha, means fair, noble, beautiful joy, and it perfectly personifies you.
A while back, we sat down as a family to think about some words to describe us, a code we live by, if you will. The acronym became GEACH, including the words grit, empathy, effort, curious, and honest. Get Geechy is now Dad's favorite mantra that still needs some selling amongst the rest of us. However, along those same lines, we'd like to leave you. I do this every time. Alina Simcha with the following blessing. Like your Jewish ancestors, may your grit help you persevere and encourage you to remember how far you've come, not just how far you have to go.
May you come to feel empathy by seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another.
May you continue to find happiness in the joy and achievement and the thrill of creative effort.
May curiosity be the compass that leads to your passions.
May your honesty lead to relationships and experiences filled with trust and truth. We are so proud of you. We won't lie, not every day is going to feel like a perfect pirouette, but just be you, and it will be a dance worth getting on stage for. And we can't wait to see where it goes. We love you. All right, now, Alina, I usually say this as a joke, but at the end of your Devar Torah, you talked about the idea that you really, for so long, couldn't imagine that today was going to get here. So again, I have proof that it did. You finally got here. None of us ever doubted that you could make it, but I'm just so glad and proud that you did. So we have this little certificate to remind you of this day, and we also hope that your Jewish journey will not stop here, and that one day you will take a trip with some friends to the land of Israel and be able to see it again as a teenager. So we have this for you, and then just a special gift from the congregation, from us to you. Rabbi Michael, who starts, Mary? Okay, good. All right, so I'm already on a roll. So, Alina, so Rabbi Michael and I do this thing where when we meet with B'nai Mitzvah students, often we will tell them stories anonymously of other students we've had before. So we have the story about the kid who passed out in the middle of his bar mitzvah and Rabbi Michael leapt across the bima and caught him. And we have the story of the kid who turned green first. And we have the story of the kid who actually, similarly to you, but actually did just keep reading in their Torah portion. And so we were like, what is happening here? And he was just making stuff up. So it was kind of amazing. But I really realized today that, and again, it'll be anonymous, but you are going to be one of these stories that we tell other kids. Because Alina, as you know, is so confident everywhere she goes with her friends or at school, but she would come here and she was really nervous. I mean, her whole siddur that we have written out here is filled with these beautiful messages from Adele saying, you got this, girl, and you're the best. And we have so many messages because you were so nervous. We thought we were going to have to strap you down with all of these different microphones because we could not get enough volume to come out of your mouth to be able to actually lead the service. And today, not only did you lead it so beautifully and so loudly, but you have an amazing voice. And I never knew that you were such a singer, and you were fantastic. So I hope that you will allow us to use you as this story to all of the kids out there who are coming up who think they can't do it, to just show that, man, you got here to this day and you rocked it. And it was so beautiful. And we are just so proud that all of those moments that you thought you couldn't do it, you really could. And it was just fantastic. So mazel tov.
Okay. You're almost there. Almost there. Okay, so what I'd like to do now, before I start speaking, is I'd like to ask everyone in the room who is around the age of, let's just say, maybe 16 or younger, no offense, but if you could all stand up. I want you to look around. These are the people that you are getting ready for. Of course, you're preparing for your family. Of course, you're preparing for your parents. Of course, you're preparing for your community. But these are the people that you will be leading. I just want you to take a moment to have the opportunity to see all of them, to see them with their haircuts and their outfits. And just be mindful of the fact that you are a leader amongst these people. And it's your opportunity, but it's also your obligation to explain to them that they have to try their best to follow in the footsteps of your Torah portion. All right, you guys can sit down. Thank you. Fantastic. You have a lot of friends. You're a very influential person. You come from a beautiful family. You work very hard. You mastered the Hebrew language in your Torah portion. You showed up to your classes. And for all of these things, you should be very proud, and you should feel very good. It is not an easy thing for a young person at this time to take on all of this responsibility. And yet you stand here in wedge heels, which some of you will see coming down. It's unbelievable. I mean, I know that you dance, but really, to do all of these things, it's quite a remarkable accomplishment. And as you go forth today and you enjoy and you celebrate, know that you earned it. Know that you worked hard and that you are deserving of all those blessings. But also remember your responsibility to lead all of these people, to remind them about their humanity and the importance of Kedoshim, of what it means to be holy, to be sacred, live a life of meaning and Kedusha. Mazel tov.
So Alina will ask you now to stand before the open ark with us for your bat mitzvah blessing. I'll ask everyone else to please rise. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichonecha.
May God's light shine upon you and guide you as you go on your way.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's countenance be lifted over you. May you always be granted with wholeness and with peace. Mazel tov. You did it. So we're going to take a moment now and we'll return our Torah to the ark.
Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ma'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ma'olam omed. Al Torah ve'al avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al Torah ve'al avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
And we continue with the words of the Aleinu on the bottom of page 282. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, latet gedula l'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'artzot, velo samonu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchakenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech mahei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. So that we're gathering here in a time of joy, we also take a few moments to remember those who are not with us, but who we know are here today with us in spirit. And so in particular, we're thinking of Stephen Tenenbaum, Mavis Siegler, of Lenore and Stanley Mankarsh, Randy Morningstar, Rona and Marvin Katkin. So thinking of those and thinking of the names we keep in our hearts, we turn together to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach yirtzeh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyamechon uv'chayei lechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv emru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudisha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen.
So my friends, just a few final words before we send you on your way. First of all, we're just so grateful that you could be here with us today. Thank you, Rob Aronson, for your beautiful music. Thank you, Roy Hendon, for helping us when we walked in today and serving as our usher. And I would like to ask, both for Roy's sake and for our staffs as well, if you wouldn't mind, when you walk out today, if you would just take your Siddurim, your prayer books, and you can put them back on the cart where you got them when you came in. But before we can really let you go, we always have to say a blessing over wine and bread, just in case you're going to have some treats afterwards. So, we throw our wine and bread, folks. Yeah. Well, who else? Tell me. And the cousins. Cousins.
Don't forget the cousins.
You guys do.
You're being voluntold if you didn't know.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. How about Eli? Will you grab the cup? Zoe, will you grab the challah and then just bring them over here so everyone can hear you guys?
Yeah. What do we do first?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
You dropped some.
So we are going to
Just
send
get
you out
going.
the door, my friends. Shabbat shalom, everyone. What do I do with this?
Throw it up in the air.
Okay.
אותנו למטה על כן אדוני אלוהינו שוכבנו ובקומנו נצליח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגיד אומם בלילה בהבטחה אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. I enlisted Jordan to join us. Yeah, it was pretty. It's been very having I just don't know how low it should be or how organized and kind of quiet. I mean, is that all right to practice? Right. Yeah. I mean, normally I would, if it were just me, I would noodle and I would kind of like flow, but with another player, oh, it'll be beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.